Welcome back to It's Not Junk TV. I'm Jarvis, and today, Chinese diesel heaters, or just diesel exhaust heater. We're going to both jump into one, take one apart that I ran all season last year. Did great all winter. Last couple times I ran it, of course, when I stopped running it, I was getting some motor out of it, and I assume it's choking for air. So let's take this one apart, see what we find. Thanks for stopping. Alright, well here she is up close. These is what they call little Chinese diesel heaters. I think they're a copy of a German heater that they made for the vans and stuff that traveled up through the Alps. I think is where it come from originally, maybe. I know truck drivers have got a form of it in a truck. That ties into their diesel tank and it runs. It's generally what you hear running. They work great, put out a lot of heat, very efficient. On a full tank, this one will run pretty close to 22, 23 hours, something like that, off a full tank, running about medium. You can't, I have found you can't really run these on low for long. If you do, they like to sit up. I've already started pulling this one apart. You're wondering why it's falling apart. The cover is nothing. This is where the fuel tank sits, which of course I've already pulled it out. It's got some in it. Just a plastic bladder. Nothing fancy about it. Got a petcock on one, or not even a petcock, just a outlet. There's last year's diesel and something floating around in it. That's gonna, most of that color is this tank where it's discolored. The heater itself is all contained down here. This little contraption we can set off to the side. Like I say, most of your heater is underneath here. If you look how these things, let's see, get you back here where you can see it. See how the exhaust, it's a weird design there, and most of them are like, I think some of them now are being designed with the exhaust coming out the side. But they're not these vertical units, they're a little squat square unit. But the burner inside's the same thing. Not much different there. Well, seems like maybe the fuel return was sitting in front of the intake, so that could have caused some issue. Anyway, exhaust comes out here, so you got to put them up on these platforms, which I just used a piece of scrap 1x and a couple 2x's, screwed it all down together, and that gets that exhaust to where it's not within combustible. These do get hot, but not enough to really cause a problem. And I put a permanent port through my living room wall next to my wood stove, so I can set this thing there and burn this until it gets cold enough to use the wood stove. But first thing I think we need to do, most of these are DC. I know some of them now. These first ones were all DC, so you either had to have a battery and a charger set up to keep them going, or a AC to DC converter. I happen to have an AC to DC converter instead of doing the battery thing, but you can do that too and set it up on solar, and then it not even cost you anything really to run it. This one here is a 24-volt system, which I assume was meant for a truck. The exhaust comes off. So the 24 volt says, you know, hey, possibly this was probably meant for truck applications, because most of your big rigs are 24 volt. Let's see, we gotta get up underneath there. There's 4 bolts that bolt this down. Your exhaust goes on, and also your fresh air intake is right next to, yeah, look at this soot. This thing's gonna be filthy. my house, because of the wood stove, tends to be dusty, and no matter what we do, we run an air cleaner, an air scrubber. We don't smoke or anything, so not in the house. So that's not an issue, but it's just the wood stove causes a bunch of issue, a bunch of dust. All right, let's see here. So of course it's going to be metric. I bet you it's the all common 10. That's what I would guess. Let's see if we can. And it is. Who would have thunk? Who would have thunk? Alright. If we can get these out. Don't be too rough with any of this, because this is all into aluminum castings. Remember, when you're putting it back together, if you're going to bust into one of these, if you got one and you're just you're going to do some repairs. I've been into one before, and you've got to be kind of gentle with this aluminum. It's not, this whole thing's made out of one big aluminum casting, and you got to be gentle, because it don't seem to be the strongest of aluminum. So you don't want to start blowing threads, which I feel would be real easy to do on any of these. All the bolts are out of it now, so we should be able to pick this up, get it out of there, maybe. Spin around here, see what we got going on. Oh, we got this fuel line, and that's what it is. It loops down and around and through the metal, but of course, all right, pull that clamp back. Trusty dusty Leatherman. I'm still using the same wore out one. I think I keep saying it's about seen its days, but I keep using it. I use it till it breaks, I guess. Sorry, it's starting to get floppy enough that it hurts. I've squeezed my hand a couple times with it. Uh-oh. I'm just blocking off this fuel line because there's some in it and I don't want it leaking everywhere. Alright, that is the actual heater unit. Like that rubber gasket. So this part of it, for now, we just got out of the way, because there's really nothing in that that is serviceable. So we'll set this out of the way. And now we'll just get into this. Get you down there where you can sit. Alright, so sitting in the unit, probably get some diesel rolls out of it. Nope. Sitting in the unit, sitting like this. Exhaust port, intake port, fuel inlet. And then of course this. But you can see how much air these are moving. And in this case, this lifts off. That lifts out. I'm gonna take I'm probably gonna have to make a new rubber gasket this go around. I think that one has seen better days. That's off. That's off. So the case can be set off to the side for now till we clean it. Yeah, well, look at the dust. But that's pulled into it. Yeah, like it's even got hot and melted that cheap rubber. Alright, that's your glow plug. That's where all your power goes in. It gets hot, it ignites it. The fan. That's pretty much it. There's not a whole lot to it. I think that's a sensor of some sort. Pretty sure. All right, let me grab a couple tools in the shop vac, because I think we put a towel down. I think it's going to be dirty. I don't want to tear into it just yet. Might want to grab some gloves because this might get real dirty. Hold tight. Alright, so I think what we're going to do is I think we're going to start by getting this circuit board off of here and out of the way. Looks like it pinches together. Let's disconnect that one. Disconnect that one. They're pretty plug specific, so that's a sensor, and the board's marked. So if you get to wondering, because these are two of the same type of plug, but one's marked sensor, obviously that's a sensor, one's marked motor, so it should be fairly easy. And then this one, there's your little circuit board. Pull this wire back out of the way. Pull this one back. Somewhere there. Maybe. This one we'll put up here out of the way. And that's your glow plug. That one can go back here out of the way. So it looks like next, probably pop out these. Oh, gosh, I can't believe I did that first time. That don't ever happen. Let's see. Seems like the easiest way to come out here past this fan. And said, don't get crazy with these. A little detent ball must be not detenting like it's supposed to. Nope. I'm gonna have to soak this one. Wow. I thought my little ratchet had quit. Alright. That gasket's already started. I might I'm gonna have to go grab a better extension for sure. That one's kind of hoops. Alright. When we pull these out, we'll just make sure they're all the same size, which I assume they're going to be. That way we can remember if they need to go back into a certain hole, if they're the same size. It really don't matter, I don't reckon. On to the last one here, and then we'll get to see what's inside this thing. See how bad it looks after a whole season. Alright, there's some soot. Yeah, there's a little bit of soot in here. There shouldn't have been there's no combustion going on this side of it. That means one of these others. On this inside here, this burn chamber. Let's see. Let's see if we can get this. Let's see if we can get this glow plug out of here. Maybe. Well, boot's tight. Alright. Let's see what we got. I'm going to need, let me rip these threads up here. Let's see if this will do it. Well, that did do it. Starting to smell a little bit of diesel. I don't know if it's just coming out of this. Oh yeah, there's some soot here. Not horrible though. A little bit around the bottom there. Let's see if we can. But not horrible. I have to assume these are going to be the same. Yeah, not tight at all. That could explain that. Let's see, that one. That one don't feel healthy. See a chatter in there? Or if the heat has deformed them threads. Well, that's stupid extension. Let's try. I think we can get away with this shorter one now. But that ain't always falling off of. Alright. See, that one wasn't very tight either. I think this little burn chamber would have to stay pretty tight, because this is where all the stuff is happening, I think. I don't like how that screw felt either. And that one I'm pretty sure I loosened up, so alright. Alright, these are shorter, so gosh. Look at them threads. See what I was talking about? The heat is distorted. There's a little burn chamber. You can see down in there the amount of soot that is accumulated down in here. And there's quite a bit. Get some extra light over here. There's quite a bit. Well, that's making it impossible. Between the phone creating a shadow and I don't know. You can see down in there, hopefully. Right where this fuel is coming in. Let's see. You see, right there is where the fuel drips in. And there is a big Christie. Right where that line's coming in. And there's a bunch of stuff down in there too. And that's all one sealed unit. I'm gonna have to soak that in something, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, look down in there. Look down in there. So it was starving for air and it was not doing a complete combustion, it don't appear. It does not appear she was burning properly. Yeah. There was some escaping. That wouldn't be on that side. So it sits in here. Oil. Something. Like that right there. So you take it and flip it over. Right on this outside edge. There was some smoke getting through. I don't like that. But they're also not leaving much to catch either. Well, be smarter than the gasket, Jarvis. There you go. So there's not a whole lot of that lip actually sealing. Alright, so yeah, can't even see. You can't, can you? The amount of crust coming up out of there. Alright, yeah. See this? That's where gas was slipping past that burn chamber and it was coming out into this one and eventually finding its way out. That's the smell I was smelling. Well, it ran almost a whole season. Well, that's still open. I don't know, let me see what I'm gonna have to soak this in. Because that stuff is crusty and sooty. Alright, let me ponder on this a second. When we come back, we'll figure out what we come up with. Alright, I think we're just gonna go with some. Are we still zoomed in? I think we are. Yeah, we are. There we are. I think we're just gonna go with some simple brake clean. Should be okay for these aluminum surfaces. Just kind of want to give everything. Oh, I wanted to show you how much crust was down in it. It's silly sun, which I'm not going to complain because winter seems to be coming quick. But I'm just gonna spray it down a few times. Let it get down in there and soak into that. Try to work it back up through the thing. But the sun is making it impossible for me to film, so you get the gist. And I'm gonna throw things. Well, here we are. After repeated cleanings, scrubbing through this, little wire brushes. Something I forgot to mention, a couple things I forgot to mention before. There's a weep hole right here. Now this will leak a little bit of fuel. It's supposed to let air out. This is when you're purging the system when you first start them up and you get any air out of them. That little hole, that thing was completely crusted over, so that has to stay clean. And inside of here, as part of the whole burner assembly, is it's just a piece of screen, but it's formed into a tube. And I cleaned this when I ended up using carb cleaner with a straw and was able to get it clean. I don't know if you're ever going to be able to see down in there, but I didn't try to pull it out because I'm afraid it's going to fall apart. I couldn't get it to come out, but I got it good and clean, as good as I can tell. I was looking on Amazon. You can order packs of 3 or 4 of them for almost nothing, so I will probably end up ordering some and then forcing this out of here at another time. I've still got probably a month before I ever even need to fire up anything. But But that's something in the future, but it's good enough to test. I've got it clean. It should burn good and clean now. So got this part scrubbed out in here, carbon choke cleaner. Same thing in here. It's still dark, but it's a wire brush. All the crust is gone. Anything to cause an issue. So the only other thing I want to do is get some of this overflow that come off these gaskets. Just take a wire brush, don't scrub hard, just kind of work some of it off. And I may dig out my gasket primer and give these a paint with that. Just a gasket shellac, I think is what they call it. Probably wouldn't hurt them any. I mean, they're a metal gasket, so just to clean them up. That way you get a halfway decent mating surface between the two. Let's actually kind of eat that one away. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to paint these. Yeah, let me hit these, and then I guess it's reassembly time. All right, now we're back in. I went ahead and painted shellac, gasket shellac on these a couple different times and let them dry. So I think they'll be good for now. This is all clean. I got everything here that I'm going to need. And I think we're just going to throw this back together. And we'll do that. You don't need me to explain all that as we go along. So I'm just going to speed through that. And then we'll put the machine back together. And we'll probably give it a test and see how it does. So let's throw this back together real quick like. All right, we're back to this part. And just give these a snug, nothing crazy. You don't want, like I said before, you don't want to get carried away with these. There's no need. Just let everything seat. I like to crisscross here a little bit. Do a little jump, as the song used to say. And then we'll let it sit. We'll throw the circuit board on and then probably come back and give these another little torque again. Just to let this aluminum seat out a little bit. And that way you're not forcing it. You're just letting it do it on its own. I'll get this back over here. And this just sort of snaps in. All right. Sort of like that right there. It would appear. All right. There's my little circuit board screw. I got this upside down. I think I do. Yep. And I don't. No, there wasn't a bottom on it. That's why it looks so weird. I had it upside down. Well, I should probably go ahead and try to plug these things in. So, the motor, I've got around here, and sensor, should be that one right there. And igniter is that one right there. And twist these around. What we got going on here? Yeah, that's how they had it before. That's the way the wires are going, so I think so. All right. I think that goes in the case. Motor spins free. It's a little dirty in there. I'm going to take a shot back to it and get it cleaned. We'll do that next. And when we come back, we'll start putting this back in its case. See if we can't get it hooked back up. All right, I've got everything cleaned up now. Got the fan nice and clean. Went through and got the enclosure nice and clean. It was filthy. So I think it's time now we can start putting this back together, which is pretty easy. I do think this season I will be pulling it apart and probably cleaning it a little more. Who's that cover not wanting to fit on there now? I don't understand. Stand? I don't understand. There we go that way. Let's see. Sorry you guys can't see, but I don't understand. It's like its lip is just, I mean, it ain't a very good plastic, I reckon. That's weird. I don't understand here, Fred. I've got another top off another heater. Well, alright. Did I grab the wrong base? I may have. I've got a couple parts of these sitting around, so that one seems to work. And that goes in. And as long as this cap goes on it, because that's what kind of holds it all together. Yeah, there we go. So apparently you can mix and match on these. Let's see. Let's see if we can get some of this dirt off it tonight. I didn't clean this one. All right. Let's start putting it back in the case. All right, I think it's a little dark over here, but I think it'll be all right. You might be able to see the display a little bit better. I'll go ahead and give this thing a shot. I got the exhaust aiming outdoors. I think first thing we're gonna do is see if we can't to get it primed. The clicking noise is just one of the things of these heaters. There we go. We're starting to get some fuel. That sounds about good. Let's give her a start and see what happens. We got a fan. The startup on these is pretty long, so it's a 2 or 3, maybe 4 minute ordeal. With this unit, I've got this external power supply, which creating, it's not so many of the volts, it's only running off 12 volts on this one, but it's the amperage. When this thing starts up, it draws a lot, but then once it's running, you're down in that 3 or 4 amp range, so it's really not drawing anything. Alright, we're getting a little smoke out the exhaust. And that's done. Yep, there it comes back. Sounds like the burner's on. There we go. I think it's going to kick on. Had a little bit of smoke on startup, if you've seen there. We're getting a little bit more right now. But this unit's not been on, and I've noticed when they need prime, this is what they do. So I suggest if you're going to use one, prime this dude before you ever move it to where you're going to eventually use it. There we go. And this diesel's old too. There we go. There we go. This thing put out some heat. Smoke some dust and dirt off that exhaust pipe too. That thing gets warm. Well, I think we've got her clean. I think we've got her running good. It's getting that burnt dust smell, you know, like any heater does after it's been shut off for a while. That's what that is. That's dust. Alright. Putting out good, hot, clean smelling heat. Let it run its shutdown cycle. Never just kill the power on these. Let them do its thing, because it's going to help clean that glow plug up. And it's going to run through the cool down cycle. But I think we've got her there. Well, I hope you found this video a little bit informative about how to get into these things. There are some other ones out there where they dig a little bit deeper than I have. But this shows you need to go through and clean them. I suggest if you're going to use them as kind of a backup heating source, to go ahead and plan about mid-season to go ahead and clean them, because that was 3 months of running it, probably 10 hours a day. Probably not really supposed to do that. Yeah, that diesel's awful, so it's still smoking as it breaks down. But I hope you found the video informative. If you've not hit like and subscribe, be sure to go down below and do that. Drop a comment. If you know something else better, you know, some improvement to these to make them a little bit better, a little bit more efficient. Anything like that, be sure to drop it below. But my name's Jarvis, and this is It's Not Junk TV. Until I see you, take care.